Hey, what's up, guys? Bob here with Snyder and Simon talking run pure best balls on Underdog. Simon, Snyder, how's it going? I'll lead off with you, Simon. Tell us what we got going on at Run Pure.
Doing good, man. It's been fun doing these drafts throughout the summer. We're getting into the crunch time now as far as training camps have started, and we're starting to get a ton of information in. We're starting to get a much better idea of how rosters are going to shape up, and we're getting a lot of injury news too. So it's been pretty chaotic this last week or so. And today we're going to go over some of the strategies that people use when approaching a draft and strategies which might help you to construct an optimal lineup given your position in a draft.
Snyder, how about you, bud? How's it going over? Where are you from again? Kentucky?
No, I'm here in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's going
Nebraska?
good. Yeah, it's been hot here the last few days, like about 100, degrees, I think it was today. It was a little warm, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Training camps rolling. We're starting to see some of these highlights and stuff that are really getting people to maybe overreact on some guys and stuff, but it's fun to see. And I'm really ready for this season to gear up as we're within about, what are we, about 5 weeks away or so?
Yeah, I think we're about 5 weeks away. I'm looking forward to this also. Love NFL, love best ball. Interested to see how like the next couple of weeks are going to progress. Remember, guys, it's Run Pure Sports. RPS Heater 25 is the promo code if you're signing up. We're going to be talking about construction and best ball today, all on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code over at Underdogs, Run Pure, all one word. Simon scolded me in Discord today about it. Yeah, just make sure that's how you're doing it if you're signing up over there as well. Yeah, my week's been going good, guys. Thanks for asking. Ready to do some best balls and stuff. So just to kind of get into construction, all types of different strategies for me. Like I want to make I want my decision making to be fluid in terms of these drafts. So you kind of have to make decisions on the go or on the fly. But there's three like main constructions: robust RB, which is being called anti-fragile around the industry right now; zero RB, which is my personal favorite. Uh, it's just basically would be the other would is the second structure, and it's pretty much all wide receiver heavy and running backs, and then hero RB, which Simon coined. I just want to give Simon the credit here, getting that one running back, and then all your wide receivers. Simon, we'll kick it off with you. Get into these structures, and how are you basically weeding through it as you draft and kind of deciding where you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, every draft is pretty much different. You got to feel out the field that you're playing against and see what they're doing and try to leverage what they're doing and do the opposite or try to figure out where the value is falling. Sometimes you'll go into a draft and everybody will go in with the same mindset that they want to do zero RB. So you're noticing that the wide receivers are flying off the board and values developing in running backs. So if you go into a draft with a mindset of zero RB and you see something like that happening, then you can easily just kind of pivot over to going more of a robust RB or a hero RB type of strategy. You know, you don't really need to go in to a draft with a strategy in mind, thinking that you're going to have to do it no matter what. You gotta be fluid with how you're doing this stuff, and you can start to see your lineup develop as you're going through the first couple rounds. Like I'll typically, if I draft a elite running back, it'll be if I'm maybe picks 1 through 4 or something like that, or later in the draft where I see Eckler available and maybe Barkley. If I see just a ton of elite running backs available in the picks that I'm in the slot that I've been given, then I might go with a robust RB type of launch to my draft. If I see elite wide receivers, I'll go with more of a zero RB type of launch. If I see like a elite wide receiver in round 1, and then someone like Eckler or Barkley will fall to me in round 2, I might pivot over to a hero RB type of strategy where you're drafting basically a elite running back in one of those first couple rounds, and then you're just hammering wide receiver in maybe up till round 6 or 7 or something like that before you start worrying about your second running back. And basically there was an article, Zero RB article written by Sean Siegel, I believe, way back in 2012 or so, and he basically coined the term Zero RB, and he came up with this article that kind of explained, like a philosophy or strategy behind not drafting your first RB into like round 6 or whatever. And that's because rounds 1 through 5 are the highest leverage rounds where you can get, like the most leverage on a position, like let's say wide receiver or something like that, because the best players are pretty much being drafted off the board in those first 5 rounds. So when you get past that, typically there's a drop off, not only in wide receiver but also other positions as well. But running back, lately you've been able to draft some pretty decent running backs when you get past the 5th, 6th rounds, especially this season. Like there's a few different rookie running backs that are really good that you can draft after that 5th round. There's a few veteran running backs that are in kind of ambiguous situations, which you can draft after those rounds. And then you got the classic satellite RBs, which are running backs which are mainly pass catchers in their offense, but they can have a decent amount of spike weeks throughout the season, which benefit more of a Zero RB type of lineup if you're wanting to load up on those types of running backs in addition to your elite wide receivers, which you're drafting in those first 5 rounds or so. So there's all sorts of different ways you can go, and you're just basically trying to go with the flow of the draft and figure it out. But like from a construction standpoint, you really want to win a position. You really don't want to hedge on a position, basically. And if you got the first 4 or so people in a draft drafting elite running backs who are going to run away with the most points at that position, and you're later in the draft, you got to start thinking, I want to win at a different position. And that's where, the whole Zero RB thing makes a lot of sense, when you're just trying to hammer those wide receivers and just win at that position. Or you can start with a tight end like Kelsey, or if you're into drafting a tight end in the 2nd round or 3rd rounds, you got Waller and Kittle. I personally prefer to not draft my first tight end until late in the 3rd, if Kittle falls there. Otherwise, I'm looking at Pitts in the 4th round. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you want to try to win as many positions as you can. And basically, if you're not getting one of those elite running backs at the top of the draft, you got to start focusing on thinking of which other position you want to win at.
Snyder, do you have a particular approach when it comes to kind of picking out these constructions?
Yeah, I think it all really comes down to where you're drafting at. That has a big role on it for me. Like if I'm picking like 1st or 2nd, obviously I'm going to take one of those top 2 backs, and then I will be looking to see what comes back to me on the backflow. I mean, if everybody's loading up on receivers coming back to me, and I got what I feel is really good value with a couple backs there, I'm going to take 2 running backs, and I'm just going to go right into that strategy. I'm going to see how the rest of the draft plays out for me, but I'm going to anchor myself on those 3 running backs, and I'll probably look to take another one, a 4th one, and then I'll probably call it quits and just roll with those 4 backs and look to draft, like, I would say 8 to 10 receivers, and just be looking for some high upside guys with that can spike from a weekly basis. And when I'm going from like earlier in the draft process, I was getting Zeke. I was big on Zeke, and I was getting him towards the middle to the late 1st round even at times. And I was more so going like the hero running back in those situations, as I was able to get my lead back, which I still feel like has the top 3 upside this year. So I was anchoring myself off him, and then I was just looking to hammer receivers the rest of the way. And then for probably 4 to 5 rounds and then rallying back to running back. And like lately, I've gotten a lot of draft picks towards the end of the first round. So I've been looking to target 2 receivers as it comes there, or even like a Travis Kelce if he's there. But if I can get those 2 receivers and then it comes back to me and I find more value, you can get like a Jamar Chase or some of those high upside receivers there. You can hit another 2 receivers, or I mean, I'm pretty high on Darren Waller now too. So if I can get him in that like 4th round area, I would be looking for him. I kind of like him. I've been up more on him lately. So yeah, I mean, if I'm going like that hero RB route, I haven't really been doing that as much because I haven't really either been getting that draft pick that I need or Zeke hasn't been falling to that right spot. So I've been going like with Kelce sometimes in there, but zero RB, I actually like that probably the best as well, because you can like maximize like your investments like in that receiver category or that tight end category. And then I'll be looking for like running backs that have like receiving upside or guys that can score touchdowns, high handcuff like that Madison that you like, and other guys like that. Darrington Evans, I'm high on him as a backup, like real late in the draft. So that's kind of where I've been going as of late in the draft process.
Yeah, I like how you said you've been picking late. I feel like I've done 2 drafts with you and we were both 10, 11, 12. We were just in the back end together. Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense. Like I try to take a macro perspective of all this, like try to group in the entirety of the slate. Like it's one big slate, right? And I think there's a huge edge here in best ball. Like there's no projections. Things are changing like by the minute. People are overreacting to tweets. Like I just try to stay even keeled and make fluid decisions. That's pretty much been my process. Like I've built lineups around all of these. Majority of the time, I feel like I'm ending up in the back end. So I have a lot of like zero RB type builds, I would say. But I'm just trying to like, I think Simon, you made a really good point. Just trying to win at a position, because when you do that, in doing so, you're leveraging construction. And I think that's really interesting in terms of like types of builds that I've seen so far. I think I've done like 40 of these underdog best balls. Yeah, anything else you guys want to touch on before we hop into one of these drafts?
Yeah, I mean, I think too with that zero RB setup, it's like I feel like I don't get many more of the wide receivers that I'm excited about after the 4th round or so. So in that 5th round, when all those elite quarterbacks are starting to go, like I like to draft my Lamar Jackson or my Kyler Murray or a quarterback like that in that round, Josh Allen. Usually, if I invest in a 1st round elite wide receiver like a Tyreek Hill or a Stephon Diggs, or like in the 2nd round, if I draft DeAndre Hopkins, usually in the 5th round, I'm looking to pair them with the respective quarterback, because I'm making a bet. If I'm betting my 1st round capital on one of those receivers or 2nd round capital on one of those receivers, I'm making a bet that they're going to go off, and obviously their quarterback's going to need to go off too. So I don't mind taking my quarterback in the 5th round in a zero RB build, especially before I draft my 1st running back, because in that situation, if I'm betting on one of those wide receivers, I'm betting that that quarterback is possibly going to win the position. So there I've won the wide receiver position. I've won the quarterback position. I've already seeded the running back position. But then in the 6th round and on, you can still get some decent running backs which have the potential to have big seasons, because there's guys like we were talking about earlier, like you got ETN, you got Javonte Williams, and then you got the guys like Mostert or our guy Harris on the Patriots. Like there's all sorts of different running backs that you can take in those later rounds that are traditionally called the RB's dead zone. And that's another thing that you can take advantage of, because when rounds are kind of categorized as a dead zone, And that's what's being hammered into all these people's heads who are listening to podcasts, reading articles and stuff. Like, they are afraid to draft running backs in those rounds, and you can take advantage of that by looking for those guys like Myles Gaskin or Chase Edmonds, like all these guys who have the potential to have big roles in their offense, who are in that categorized dead zone, who people are trying to hammer wide receiver at that point. If you've got that head start on wide receiver with a 0 RB or a hero RB build, then you have that opportunity to just like scoop up like the Gaskins of the world and stuff like that, and just hope that they kind of break up. You also got like Trey Sermon, obviously. That's another one. People
I think
are
you'd
talking
add
about
Darrell Henderson to that mix too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Darrell Henderson now is falling into that range. So there's all sorts of guys that you can bet on in that range that could easily have breakout seasons and outperform their ADP by a significant amount and help you to maybe not necessarily win the running back position, but close the gap enough so that your wins in wide receiver and quarterback or tight end and these other positions are significant enough to carry you to the first or second spot, which you need in this underdog contest to advance to the next round. And by the way, the Run Pure, that gets you $25 cash bonus when you make your first deposit. This is for new people signing up for underdog accounts. It gives you $25, and basically the contest that we've been entering throughout this show and we've been talking up, that's the Best Ball Mania contest, and that's the one with $1 million prize, and that's $25 to enter. So when you use Run Pure after signing up for an account, you basically get a free entry into that. So it's a really good deal there.
Yeah, you hit on two big things. Like, I think quarterbacks being kind of underappreciated and winning at that position, I think, is very interesting. For whatever reason, like, people are just waiting and waiting on QBs. And I understand that you sacrifice value, but the way these tournaments are structured, like, you want a high floor team. So getting two elite quarterbacks will make you different in a sense, I feel like, or trying to pay up for two more stud quarterbacks when everyone's just kind of lagging. You still have to win your group, and you still need to have high floors. And I feel like that's the quickest way to high floor. And it might not be the optimal route to how everything's going. The optimal route seems to not do that, to do that. But that's what we consider what the optimal route is right now. Come week 11, it could totally have flipped on his head. And if it does, you're in having two quarterbacks that are like a Kyler Murray, or taking a shot on Aaron Rodgers earlier, which I feel like that's happening more and more the more I draft. I think that's a pretty good play. The other thing, like, just talking about the whole Cam Akers situation with Darrell Henderson, that seemed like a big industry short squeeze to me on Henderson. Like, Henderson's stepping into this Rams offense, it's a McVay offense, and the whole industry is backpedaling on wanting to play him because they're saying someone's going to sign him. Well, I'm overexposed, so I want to get more and more of Henderson, because that's a way I can differentiate myself when the whole industry ideology is pretty much going the other way. I get the risk in that, but there's also big leverage if you have exposure to Henderson or had it previously to the Cam Akers ownership, to the Cam Akers injury. But yeah, those dead zone running backs like James Conner and Chase Edmonds is James Conner good? Like, it seems like he's been dust since he came in the league. Like, I'm ready to rock with Chase Edmonds anytime I can, or Damian Harris, another guy for the Patriots I really like. There's a lot of good running back value in those zones. So make sure, quote unquote, in those quote unquote dead zones. So make sure you're kind of taking advantage of that. Let's hop into one of these drafts, boys.
Yeah, I want to hit on one thing quick.
Oh, yeah.
Just something like from last year's numbers, just looking at what everyone did last year, like all the analytics on what everyone did. And like the most common build from the public was a 6 running back build and taking 2 early running backs. That was by far the most popular one. But the structure that had the best league win rate, like you're winning your league and you're moving on, that was by far the running back 0. I mean, that was 6 running backs total with 0 early, and then there were another one where you drafted 7 and went 0 early. That had by far the highest league win rate, but the Simon's term, that hero RB, that actually had the best top 1% rate, like winning the whole thing and advancing as far as you could. It was all centered around drafting that one stud running back and then building out. That had the best overall rate. I mean, but when you look at how the majority of rosters are constructed, it's usually 2 early or 3 early was like by far the most popular last year when you're looking at how everybody was constructing their team. So you could kind of use that as leverage. And like nobody hardly ever, like it was really low when you look at 0 early or 1 early. I mean, those numbers are by far way less than the other.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Snyder. Like you're flipping the construction and that's how you're gaining your leverage. Because like we said, we don't have like quality projections right now. Projections in themselves on a daily DFS slate are relatively inefficient. Like we've had the best projections we've ever had in the industry, but projections, like in anything, are just projections. So like you really don't have that to go on. And if you're kind of keeping a baseline approach and kind of trying to manipulate the construction and do different things, making fluid decisions as you draft, should end up in a pretty good position come the end of the year, I think.
Yeah, Bobby, why don't you go ahead and enter into that draft and real quick, like going on projections are based on the year. They're not accounting for individual matchups throughout the year. You know, like if a guy's playing a crappy defense, a quarterback's playing a crappy defense, it doesn't account for, you know, maybe they go run heavy later in the game, or if a quarterback's playing a competitive game, they don't account for, you know, like basically spike weeks. You know, it's not accounting for that. It's just accounting for a baseline like season projection. So you can kind of take advantage of that too when you're looking for quarterbacks to draft and try to figure out, okay, I want to get this quarterback who has like these weeks, he's going to be in, you know, potential spike weeks. And this quarterback B is going to be in potential spike weeks on these weeks where the other guy, you know, might have a down week. If you can kind of map that out and pick the different quarterbacks that you want to pair together to try and take advantage of that, you know, that's something that you want to consider. You want to take a close look at schedules to try to figure out which quarterbacks make the best pairings and in general who to stack those quarterbacks with. And then you can come up with a game plan based on that as well, you know?
Yeah, I'm really surprised Mangone hasn't hopped into this because I think like these best balls are like perfect. The way the tournaments are structured, like I know it's a big, like Mangone is obviously very like interested in projections, but it's a lot to do with roster construction to fit these like 12 mans, like small field, basically GPP tournaments that you would see in DFS. I think that's like how you're winning these tournaments is just trying to build high floor teams within a 150 script to kind of give you just build enough bullets to get over the hump. It's kind of how it stood out to me last year. It was like my first year doing it. Yeah, I don't know. It seems a lot like cash game construction, and then like you're just building 150 and like trying to combine basically GPP game theory and cash game construction. That's kind of how I'm approaching it.
Yeah, and you want to pay attention to the playoff weeks too, to make sure that you're loading up on players, maybe on your tiebreaker positions where you have two guys that you're debating on drafting. A tiebreaker can be, okay, what's this guy's weeks look like during the playoffs or something like that? Is this guy going to have good matchups in the playoffs, or is this guy going to be in competitive games during the playoffs? You want to try to pay attention to that too, so that you're making sure that, you know, just in case you do advance to the next round, that you have you know, good chalky lineups in the playoffs. You know, like what we'd be looking for in DFS basically the types of matchups we'd be looking for in DFS. That's what you want to have in the playoffs of these. But you don't want to sacrifice the team itself, like just to build a playoff team, because you still got to get to the playoffs. But it's something to keep in mind when you're looking for tiebreakers and stuff like that on who you want to draft.
And the playoffs are 14 through 17, correct?
I believe so.
I think
check
so.
Check the.
All right, we are drafting
we
at
got that.
position 9. We're ready to go.
Position 9,
Anybody your
perfect.
spot?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
our spot.
I'm probably going to try to go Devontae at 9. If he's not there, then Saquon, I would say. Or Eckler. But those are the three main guys that I'm trying to get over on Devontae at this point.
Yeah, he's still cheap.
Yeah, he's still cheap. You can make a case to take Devontae at 5, in my opinion, or even 4.
Yeah, I think between him, Hill, and Diggs, I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those 3 guys in the first round.
Yeah, I agree. I was with you on that last draft, Bobby, and I was right there. What was I, like 10th or 11th? And I went Diggs over Adams, but it was really close for me. I mean, Adams' upside is just absolutely amazing. I mean, Rodgers is going to continue to pepper him. It doesn't matter if there's 2 or 3 defenders on him. I mean, Rodgers is still going to flip the ball in there, find the hole, and I mean, his red zone, like the Packers' red zone, receiving upside is really high compared to other teams. I mean, there's so many times when the Packers will be like on that 3 or 4 yard line, and they'll throw like a little slant pass or a jump ball to Adams.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Like, his red zone usage is very high. Rodgers is looking for him every time he's down there. Seen the 20 touchdowns last year. Like, I don't mind. But that's the thing. I think the more, like, Adams seems to be going higher and higher. We might not even get Adams here. So
if you're looking on, if you think on the narrative perspective too, those guys are posting Last Dance images on their Instagram, so they're going to be, his target rate is going to stay the way it was last year, if not increase, if that's even possible. But they're going to have Cobb there too, so Rodgers is going for it this year, I think.
Yeah, they play the Ravens in the playoffs. That's one thing. I think Adams just went. I'm pretty positive. So
he went 7th.
Saquon gone.
So, yeah, either your boy Eckler or Diggs, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Eckler. I'm overexposed to Eckler, but
the good thing about Rodgers coming back is it's bumped Adams and it's bumped Jones pretty much into the first round, which is pushing our guys into the second round. So those guys being back in the first round has kind of lets you do something like take a Eckler and a Diggs or a Tyreek and a Diggs again, which we weren't able to do for a while because those guys are climbing up so high in ADP, and there really wasn't a whole lot of juice in that first round. But now we got Adams and Jones creeping back in there, so it pushes a lot of the guys that I actually like into the second round, which is perfect for me when I'm drafting in the back end of that first round.
See, I actually think Jones going as high as he's going may be a mistake with AJ Dillon there. And, like, not to be overreactive over tweets and stuff like that, but AJ Dillon looks like he's catching the ball out of the backfield, and there we just got swiped again. That is not good.
To see it. This is like the worst spot. I just hate this spot right here with these guys.
Yeah, I'm in a tough spot here. I'm going to go Nick Chubb and go running back heavy. You wouldn't go Chubb?
I would go Jones or Taylor over Chubb, honestly. But it's up to you. Taylor. Yeah, I don't want to.
Well, you got to click off. You got to click on
it. Oh, shit. We went Chubb.
The desktop.
I like that AJ Dillon call, though. With AJ or Jones moving up even higher, that makes me want to even jump more on Dillon like later in the draft as some leverage off him because I think AJ Dillon has a lot of upside this year. And I mean, Aaron Jones has been pretty healthy lately, but anything can happen there. I think with the Packers pass game work being open more this year, I like the upside there even more.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, I'm kind of tilted on that Chubb. I should have went to Taylor. Taylor just makes the most sense. Like Chubb splitting with Kareem Hunt. I just haven't been in that situation, so that is pretty much it. Like that's a fluid decision that I feel like I didn't win. So,
but I think like now that you've made that decision, you just got to kind of embrace it. And like who did we get in the first?
We got Eckler.
Eckler, okay.
Eckler, Chubb, yeah.
So maybe Keenan Allen will follow you, and maybe you can do something with Rams, but he hasn't been falling that late, so I don't know.
Yeah, we just gotta embrace that.
Yeah. So now, point. But I think regardless now, like you want to hammer wide receiver, like for the next.
So then we're getting away from robust RB, and it's kind of started out that way. I built like a couple teams robust RB, but I'm mainly going wide out. I like hitting the wide outs here also. Just want to look in terms of 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver instructions.
Yeah, I think that's a big edge too. Like many people don't like look at what other people are drafting like around them. Like if they're like on that 10 spot and there's 2 guys, a lot of guys, like if you see someone's loaded up on receivers on both those picks, you could like take a running back or something and that receiver has a bigger chance of coming back to you there, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of, I didn't realize it's tougher to look on the desktop. I want to get
it's
I got to get this going on my phone, so if I have to make like a quick decision like last time, I can just do it.
Yeah. Now, it'll be interesting, like, because if you're doing it on your phone, I wonder what it's going to look like on the desktop. That'd be great.
No. I'll keep it like I'll try to make sure it's going to be like.
Yeah. But it might actually play along with it on the desktop if you're working it on your phone. Is what I'm saying. Like it'd be interesting.
Where are we picking at right
now? We're coming up in 4 picks.
3-6. Yeah. So, yeah, this is with Michael Thomas sliding out of the 3rd. I've noticed that like the receivers that I want, the guys that I want in round 3 are not getting to me at the end of the round.
I like Jamar Chase here.
Yeah, I'm pretty big on Chase. I'm actually getting higher on Dobbins too. I think Dobbins is going to have a huge year this year.
They have 3 running backs, and I already have Chubb, so just like
yeah.
I don't know. I like Mahomes too, but
yeah, I wouldn't go with Mahomes unless you had Tyreek or Kelsey.
Mm-hmm. See, but I think that's.
Oh, but yeah. I know you're gonna go with the opposite
because the ambiguity with Hardman and the other one.
But I think I do think right now though, man,
you don't like Chase.
I love Chase.
I like Chase relative to these other guys. I like Jones too, but I like either or.
You like Jones? I gotta go. I
don't
have any Julio. I don't have any Julio exposure.
Yeah, I think if you got by getting Chase there though, you're giving yourself room for a lot of upside. So that kind of makes up for maybe missing out on a receiver in those first couple rounds because we don't know what kind of upside that Chase has right now.
Yeah,
I think he's got just as good as upside as his teammate did last year, Jefferson. I mean, when those 2 guys were lining up at LSU, I mean, Chase was just unreal. What do you have? I think he went for like near 2,000 yards receiving and like 20, like low 20s touchdowns in like 16 games in that college. Him and Burrow had a great connection, and it seems to be back from what I'm seeing in training camp.
Yeah,
this to me right here is pretty much a dead zone. Is that bad? Is that a bad take? I don't like anyone here down at T. Higgins. And then
I'm the same way. Yeah,
I've been taking Deontay a lot here.
You could go T. Higgins and then build that Bengals stack there.
See now, because I don't like DJ Moore at all. Like the only guy that I really like in this range, this is
Julio.
where I like to take Jamar Chase, because he'll usually fall to like the first few picks of the fourth round. So I like to get a guy in the third round, like Jones or someone like that. Like that's what it's come to though. Like before, it used to be you used to have Amari Cooper, you used to have CeeDee Lamb. Sometimes Terry McLaurin would fall to that spot, but now they're all getting scooped up early, and all the crap is like filtering down, like to the bottom end of that third round. So it's just like it's tough to make that decision.
Deontay or Julio?
I go Julio there.
Yeah, I think Julio's got real good upside for. I mean, I haven't really ever seen him drop that far lately.
Yeah,
Deontay is my guy. So
I'll say this, man. Like I don't know what you guys are thinking about Ben Roethlisberger being all skinny now, but I think that he realizes his O-line sucks, right? And he's thinking he's going to need to scramble because he lost a ton of weight. And all the sacks that dude takes, he'd get destroyed right now with his weight. So I think he knows that he has to scramble a lot, and he's going to be looking to do those quick passes to guys.
That's
like
a lot of the
Deontay
reason why I like Deontay.
Yeah, Deontay and Juju. Like I think those guys are gonna. People are drafting Claypool pretty early. I think he should be going much later because I think those like those quick passes are going to be going to the guys like Deontay and Juju with Ben being so skinny and not going to have a lot of time with the O-line being the way it is.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, it just comes down to whether he's going to be able to catch the ball this year or not. He led the league in drops last year, but, I mean, he's got to be better this year.
Yeah, you get him a year removed from that. I mean, his rookie year, he was on fire. He was a stud, and he was getting a shitload of targets last year too. So I think Ben is trying to break him in, trying to help him out to become a legit receiver. Last year, he had a lot of drops. A lot of that can be bad luck. So I think this year,
Deontay, I think Deontay is going to be top 12 at the position this year by the end of the season.
I'm definitely a Deontay fan. I haven't drafted a lot of them though. I'm a fan of him, but I haven't drafted a lot.
I think the point that you made with Ben having to get rid of the ball quickly, I don't think Najee Harris is going to impact the offense as much, so much so that it'll take away from Deontay. Deontay's still going to be catching, like the Pittsburgh Steelers passing game was pretty much their running game last year. Like I don't see that changing that much with the issues with the offensive line being what they are.
I think Deontay's in for some pain this year, man. With that old line, he's just gonna, they're throwing a rookie into the fire there.
Who, Najee? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. See, Darrell Henderson. Like, I wanted to get Henderson when we came up on our second pick, coming back on the wrap, but yeah, I think the industry totally is short squeezing Henderson because after everyone was drafting Akers so much, and I think they're just all. They just pretty much said, oh, they're going to bring someone else in. But everyone knows, like, you have an edge in that exposure if you've been drafting Henderson over the majority. So I don't know. It makes sense that they would bring someone in, and the McVay's backfields are volatile, but it seems like a complete industry, like, short squeeze of Darrell Henderson because last year as a starter, he was very, very good when he had that opportunity.
And I'm not touching Michael Thomas until after all the 10th round, 11th round receivers are gone, and then you're getting kind of like into the Nelson Aguilar range. Michael Thomas, to me, like, he was in a situation where he was supposed to see a return trip to the specialist to get the surgery on his ankle, and he never went to see the specialist again. And so he didn't have his surgery until way after he was supposed to. And now he's going to miss at least, 6 to 8 weeks? So, and then when he comes back, there's no guarantee that he's going to be able to perform on that ankle. On top of, mentally, he's just hasn't been there he's kind of been checked out the last couple seasons. So I wouldn't touch Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually drafting him decent amount, like in that third, fourth round when he was falling earlier this year. But yeah, the last 2 years it's been like he's got some mental stuff going on, and like he didn't act like he even wanted to be there last year, and then not following through with his surgery this year. I mean, he's projected to be out through the bye week, which I think is week 6. So week 7 he'd be back. And yeah, like you said, I mean, who's to say he's got his shit figured out or whatever when he comes back and he actually wants to be there?
Yeah.
Who do we have for Javonte Williams here? We just lost like everyone I wanted to draft. So
who do you have for wide receivers right now?
Let's take actually Odell.
Yeah, that goes with your Chubb.
Yeah. Oh, that's a negative correlation. Fuck.
Oh, it's all good. Like I think
this is a lot harder to do while you're doing the show.
No, I know it's not easy, but I think with the Baker able to move the ball to Beckham, like sets him up in the end zone. So I don't think it's
pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Technically, it's a negative correlation, but I think you can still get away with it. What are your receivers looking like right now?
Right now, Odell. We're on the clock. Cortland Sutton. Do you like Sutton?
Yeah, Sutton. Yep, he's looking good in camp, I hear too. So
yeah, touchdown equity there too.
And there's still
pretty
a potential
big on the Broncos as a whole.
Yeah, we still have a potential of Watson ending up there too. On top of it,
I got to think through this team. We have Eckler, Chubb, Jamar Chase, Julio Jones, Odell, and Cortland Sutton.
Where are we at as far as number of draft? Where did we just draft Sutton? What was I know it's 6'4", but like where's that number wise? What pick?
So we have 4 receivers and 2 running backs.
But what pick number was Sutton?
He was 64. ADP currently 65. Like general.
Okay. So you got him right where you wanted him.
What are you guys doing with Watson then towards the end of this draft? I've seen
that might be our second QB.
Yeah, I mean, I've been taking him some. Like if I can get him like late in that like 15, 16, 17 range.
I had like 25% exposure to him because I was just drafting him every time, like in the 16th, 17th round. But now I like the last draft that I did, he went in the 12th round. So I'm not taking him there. Like I think that's when I can get Trey Lance or Justin Fields or a guy like that in that range. I'm tending to fade Watson right now unless he falls. If he fell into the 14th, 15th round, I think it's still good there, but I don't know if I'd take him earlier than that.
Yeah, so basically we're going to have to make decisions at quarterback, tight end, kind of have like a half robust RB structure going.
Can you go to your team real quick? I just want to see what we're looking at. This is one of the things that is a little tricky with Underdog is trying to.
Oh, I can't do
there
that.
You go, on your side. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, there you go.
We got Eckler, Chubb, Chase, Jones, Beckham. I wouldn't hate like Tannehill or Burrow going for one of those guys as your QB. Like I think you can get away with getting one more receiver before you'd hit one of those dudes, and then maybe Baker. Obviously, I think you want to target him as a later round.
Baker, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, either a third or a second quarterback. I don't know what you're.
I want to try. I was thinking about trying to get Rodgers to Tanyan, but I get what you're saying, Burrow. So I need to draft a tight end eventually.
Yeah, because I think you've invested that capital in Chase. You've invested in Chase breaking out, so I think you might as well get Burrow. Is Boyd is Boyd still available? Maybe you can do a double stack there.
Chenault, it's right around that range where Boyd's going.
Yeah. but there's a lot. Like I like Chenault too. Like Chenault.
Yeah, I'm big on Visca.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole industry's on LaVishka, and like I want to take Shark and Marvin Jones.
I don't think Shark's good at football, man.
I don't either. I think he had that fluke breakout year, and then,
Are we taking Burrow here? Is this a good time to take? What do you have for numbers?
He's 101. I would take a receiver and then take Burrow in the 8th.
Tough to take. Michael Pittman.
I like Pittman there. Thing with Pittman, he's playing with
the guy Logan Thomas. Big Logan Thomas guy. He's down on the list.
He's probably down there a ways. I think he's in the hundreds.
He's 107 usually. I feel like we're way past him. I think someone drafted him already.
The thing with Michael Pittman, though, he's playing with Carson Wentz this year, and Carson Wentz has always targeted those big, lengthy receivers that can go up and get the ball. I seen a stat where the majority of his passes go to a receiver that's 6'3" or taller, and like Alshon Jeffrey was there, and he always used to hook up with him. And Pittman, I think he can break out this year. He was in my article as well. He's really gonna, I think, overpower. Like T.Y. Hilton's turning 32 this year. He's gonna be over the hill and dust. You got Paris Campbell there. He can't stay healthy. He's played 9 games in 2 years. I think it's gonna be Pittman's to take this year.
Yeah, I think you're right. Someone just sniped Burrow.
I took Rodgers. I took Rodgers. So yeah.
Okay.
I noticed right ahead. I seen Burrow, and I was like,
I was like, oh shit! I just told Bobby to wait until the
That's
next
happened to
round
me
for
3
Burrow.
times already.
Get your boy Bob
man.
Tonyan with Rodgers.
That's what I'm doing. That was my plan in the first place. So like,
There you go. Yeah.
little Bob and Bob. That's the way I'm kind of trending.
Plan B.
Plan B. Yeah. Plan B. Exactly.
I do like that nugget on Pittman though, Snyder.
Yeah, I like him a lot this year.
Yeah, I think Pittman's in for a big year. The Jaguars, like, I really like outside of LaVishka. Like, I think we should kind of talk about that. Like, they have a really good playoff schedule there. I think they play. Me and my brother were kind of hitting on this earlier. He was doing some drafts. I was doing some drafts, and we are kind of talking through it. They play the Titans week 15. No, sorry, they play the Texans week 15. Titans week 14. And then who do they play? 16. 16, they play the Jets. Wow, they have a good playoff schedule. And then the Patriots, week 17. Trevor Lawrence and that Jacksonville passing stack. And I know everyone's going to LaVishka, but for me, like, I don't mind Chark. I know you guys think
I think if LaVishka's already off the board, I'm guessing he is. What are your wide receivers looking right now that you have left?
LaVishka's got to be gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
But who's on the board still? Like go to wide receiver real quick.
Yeah, sorry. Michael Thomas still there.
Thomas still there. After the I wouldn't take him before any of these guys. Like Marvin Jones has been having a connection with Lawrence the first couple days of camp, so Marvin Jones is interesting. You could get James Robinson, throw him in there too. If I know it's we were talking negative correlation and everything, but then you got Tannehill, who you could grab to pair up.
I know you want me to take some Tannehill
with Jones.
I feel like all the guys, Tannehill and Burrow. I feel like all the sharp best ball drafters are all over those guys.
Yeah,
I mean something interesting I found with the Visca. I was looking through his stats from last year and his game logs and such. And 69 of his 79 targets were all within 15 yards. I mean, he had just dust balls thrown in the ball. They wouldn't even attack him downfield. He caught all 6 of his catchable balls that were thrown over 15 yards downfield and had I think it was 174 yards and 2 touchdowns off those 6 catches. And I think Lawrence will definitely be able to stretch the ball down the field more. I think that's going to open up even more upside for him this year.
Yeah, they're saying Lawrence is looking really good in camp, so I was drafting him a lot early on, and then I kind of got off of it. And this is what I hate. Like, I wish I would be more consistent, like, throughout the summer when I'm drafting. Because I always end up with, like, 20% of this guy. Like, I want to have major exposure to these guys, like 40% or something like that. That's something you want to pay attention to when you're drafting. Just don't let yourself drift as far as the guys that you're targeting. Make a try to pick guys that you really like and stick with them. Unless, of course, like some sort of news comes out like that, like they were supposed to get surgery in in January and waited to June,
And just like you said, I took my guy Logan Thomas.
There you go.
There you go.
LT3.
Very overexposed to Logan Thomas. Think he's gonna have a big year. So
I like Logan Thomas this year.
now the question is, do I go back to back tight end, which seems like horrible roster construction, but Lawrence or Tanyan need to complete that stack.
If you got Rodgers, you might want to start thinking of
yeah,
who you want to pair him with.
I was probably leaning Tanyan.
Yeah, so Tanyan makes sense, and then just for future rounds, you want to get Amari Rodgers probably and Randall Cobb in that queue, like just so you don't forget about him.
Oh, I don't forget. Trust me, I make sure they will be on this team.
Gotcha. I like Bateman here. What other receivers do you have available? Do you still have Elijah Moore or Eli
Thomas
Moore?
is still there. Bateman is there. Ruggs, Rondale
Moore. You got some good options there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty overweight on Bateman this year. I mean, I'm kind of a Ravens homer though, but
yeah.
See, that's my thing though, is like we kind of talked about this in the last show. They don't like their passing game is just not meant to be like you can single stack them. I get it, but it's just tough to really double stack that team with their philosophy. They want to run the football and
I still think they're going to surprise people with that passing game this year. I mean, I seen like Lamar, like the last 2 years, he has improved. And, like, he doesn't go out on the summers. He's been, like, in training facilities and stuff, working on that passing game. That could be just wishful thinking, but I really think he's going to take a step forward this year again.
What's Rodgers' bye week?
Week 13.
Oh, so Tannehill's week 13 too, so I don't know
how
you want to play that. Unless if you're planning on doing a 3 quarterback build with Baker. Like, if you're going to grab Baker, though, like and use him only as a 2 QB build, then you might as well just dump Tannehill from that.
They can't really play Tannehill at this point. Roger at 13. Baker's at 13 as well, so he's out.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, so Deshaun.
What about Fitzmagic with your Logan Thomas?
We might still be able to get Lawrence. Fitzmagic, we could do that, yeah.
He's got rushing upside too. I mean, Fitzpatrick, he's going to run for like 3 or 4 touchdowns this year. He always likes sneaking them in.
Yeah. If you got Lawrence in there, you might want to put Marvin Jones in there too. For the way back.
For the queue, yeah.
If he's available. Nah, it doesn't look like he is.
I think he just went actually, not too long.
He just went? All right, so
Yeah.
we're going Fitzpatrick or we're going Deshaun.
I don't
What's
know.
the earliest you guys would take Deshaun right now?
Me, 14, 15.
Yeah,
I wouldn't draft him before that. There's still too much uncertainty there.
Yeah.
Before it made a lot of sense because you're taking him for free in the 17th, 18th round, and now it's like now you got to pay a premium for him relative to the news. We don't even know if he's going to be a starter. Like if
you don't even know if he's going to be on that commissioner's exempt list or like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I've heard some rumors. I mean,
yeah, I think he's going to be good to play. I just don't know if they're going to play him, and I don't know if he's going to get traded. Bobby and I were talking earlier this week that the asking price on him is like 3 first-round picks. and starting caliber quarterback.
We have
Denver.
Wentz as a possibility as well because we have Pittman. So
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
like Wentz.
and then we could get. Well, I'm not going to go Mo Cox, but if we had not gotten Tanyan, we could have went Cox. I was just thinking through all those scenarios before we drafted Tanyan. I'm
I
gonna
like Fitz because then you can get Diami Brown later too.
I'm gonna take some Madison.
What pick number is it at?
We're at 120, so we're
120.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we're still early on Fitzpatrick. I don't think we necessarily need to take him here. Trey Lance is still around.
Can we
What
do
quarterbacks? What quarterbacks are there?
15 seconds. Matt Ryan, Tua. Let me go Cole. Fuck.
That sucks.
I can't. This is just.
No, I hear you, man.
This is really tough to do on desktop. Holy fuck. I was just like trying to click through and that was not happening. So
Yeah. No, I hear you.
what was Fitz's bye week there?
You're
Fitz
good
is
there.
by week 9. You're good there.
Okay. That's good to know.
So, yeah, I'd get, like
These are the dead zones where I feel like you can take shots on guys. Like this is where I've been.
I like, this is where I like to take like Rondale Moore and guys like that. Like get a little bit of rookie upside.
Yeah.
I was taking Rager a lot. I don't know if he's like Snyder. Are you hearing anything on him in camp?
You got sniped.
I haven't yet. I mean, I know the upside was there for him coming in from like the last year and everything. And I mean, it makes like a good upside guy this late in the draft, I think.
Yeah.
My guy, too early.
Yeah, a little too early.
I wasn't gonna get him though if I waited.
I haven't seen you not draft him yet.
Nope. Doesn't make sense not to.
Yeah, you're all in. You gotta
I'm
stay
all
on
in.
it.
Yeah.
Where are we at with positions?
We're
We're good on quarterback.
2,
we
3,
have
5.
2 Qs. It's my first share of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Interesting. Eckler, Chubb, Madison, Jamar Chase, Julio, Odell, Cortland, Michael Pittman, Logan Thomas, and Tom. I think our strongest position is tight end, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Tough scene.
Our strongest position is tight end, and we don't have Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Well, this is where it would make sense. Like when you feel like you're kind of your lineup is detonating.
Or dead as can be at this point.
Like this is where you want to take a chance. You got Sutton, and you want to look at potentially. Okay, so Watson might go to Denver if he gets traded, right? Denver's a potential situation for him to get traded to. So that's where I would look at Watson as my third quarterback when the draft's not going the way that I want it to.
Usually we're trying to stick to 2, right?
Yeah. I think you got 2 tight ends. You don't need any more tight ends. I think you got 2 good tight ends.
Yeah.
You've invested a decent amount of capital in those guys. Who's your second? Tanyan, right? I think right now you want to hammer wide receiver, and I think you want to go for upside on your wide receiver right now. So where are you at with?
So wideouts that I'm interested in. Well, we can just throw Crowder and Cole into the queue. You like Diami Brown?
Yeah,
I don't know much
that
about
fits
him.
with your stack, yeah.
Fits with the stack. Amari Rogers would be the guy to prefer.
Yeah, I think you get both of them actually.
I love Van.
I like some Van Jefferson. I think he's got big upside.
Nico Collins, I like. Cobb is in the mix.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? I would maybe look to like
Aaron
Darrington
Pringle.
Evans too here in a couple rounds.
Yeah. Let's
I don't
look
know
at
if you
some.
guys
Let's
like
look
him
at
or
some. No,
not.
I think that's a good point. Let's look at some. So Geo, is my highest owned player. I have a ton of Geo. More on DK, but
McKissick would work with the Fitzmagic stack.
Yep.
Yeah, I like
I think he's
McKissick. I like McKissick better than Brown. Is that a bad take?
Better than who?
Better
Oh,
than Daimi Brown.
I don't think it's a horrible take.
But you don't love
I
it.
I
think.
mean, I don't
I
know what
mean,
to expect out of Daimi really yet.
yeah, and I'm kind of the same way with McKissick. I know he had a ton of receptions last year, but he also had Alex Smith dumping it off
Alex
to him.
Smith. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure out too. So
I just think Gibson's gonna be able to handle a decent amount of receptions this year, but we don't know what their plan is for McKissick right now. But we look at Ron Rivera's history. If he's planning on turning Gibson into a McCaffrey type of running back, then he's not going to be looking to have two running backs in that system. But
Are you
I think that's
worried?
a really good point.
Are you worried any about Curtis Samuel going there as like a gadget type player, maybe getting a few carries here and there and getting some bubble screens near the line of scrimmage and stuff?
Cole's still there, guys. Do we take Beasley? Or a lot of people down on Beasley?
He
I'm
just
not-
went.
yeah. I think if you can get him like this late, if you can get him far enough removed from his ADP, I think it
Yeah.
makes sense. But he's another guy because we don't know how people are going to react to the stuff he's saying right now on his team, the vaccine stuff.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. Like they could come out and completely, support him, or people could be like, "Oh, we gotta get rid of this guy." So we don't know how that's going to play out. And with a guy like Beasley, I don't know if it's necessarily worth the risk unless you're getting him a couple rounds later than ADP.
So I drafted Amari Rogers just to complete the stack. I don't know if, like, for me, I think that's fine. I feel like you guys would have rather Crowder.
Yeah, I would have probably waited around on Rodgers personally and taken a guy like Rager. But
Yeah, no, I get you.
uh,
Daimi Brown, do you want to take him next pick, or do we need a stat? We need to get that stack.
where are we at? 169. We just did pick 155. Who do we have for running backs right now? Like
James White here.
still on the board. What's his ADP?
His ADP is
173.
right, 173.
If I
like
might
Gio
just
at 182.
yeah,
too.
I might just skip James White and wait around on Gio maybe.
You want Gio?
Well, not this round, but I might.
This is getting.
Abort.
It's okay.
Gio it is. I get a lot of Gio. I'm not. Darrington Evans, I could have taken.
How many running backs are we looking at right now that you have?
We have 4. I try to stay at 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't go past 5. Sometimes I'll only draft 4 running backs if I get like a couple studs at the top.
My screen is so fucked up.
Yeah, desktop is not.
It's
not
it's
the best.
just different than. I feel like my best attribute in doing this is just making fluid decisions, and this is nothing about this has been fluid.
Yeah, it's not a fluid system. Yeah, like with the desktop.
With the desktop, it's really, and then on top of it,
Because remember the first time that I did it, and we were doing it on the desktop that time, and I was just like, I felt like a deer in headlights the first time you do it. It's just such a
it's tough. I didn't realize. So I've been practicing, like getting ready to do this, and it's a lot different when you're on. What are we doing next, Simon? You get the pick. You can make it.
All right. So, what pick are we coming up on ADP wise? What did Marshall just go as? Do we have any way of finding out?
59 rounds. 59, I think it's coming out. What did Marshall go? Kramer. 14, 12. Oh, it's 180. Yeah. We're like in 150. We're still in the 140s.
No, I think we drafted a dude at 150. I think, didn't we?
Wait. Hope I'm in the.
Who was the
hope I'm
last
in
guy
the
that we chose?
Giovanni
Alright, so
Bernard. I know
Oh,
you.
Gio.
Yeah.
What pick number was he for us?
He was pick 160. His ADP is 180. I like him at 160 personally. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Would you get
that's
laid
the group
enough?
think. That's leverageable group think.
Right. Would you get when you get late enough in the draft, it's like ADP kind of goes out the window anyway.
That's what I'm saying. That was one of these. That's one of the things. Like, I just take my guys at this point.
I haven't been taking a whole lot of Crowder. I think I'd go Diami Brown on my next pick, and then just hammer the guys that you like, because that way at that point you have your stack taken care of.
Is Diami Brown good? Like, what's his?
Yeah, he's
give me the breakdown.
Yeah, he could be Terry McLaurin type.
He had big upside at times in UNC last year.
Types.
Yeah. I don't know if he'd have that same type of breakout, because there's a lot more target competition than McLaurin had his rookie season, but he's got the right quarterback for a player of his profile to break out with,
So I think we go Brown, and then I think we go Darrington Evans, just to try to get leverage on Henry lineups.
Yeah.
So we have leverage on Cook and Henry at that point.
Yeah, I would focus on wide receivers after Darrington Evans, though, because at that point you got 5, I believe, right? So just hammer it out with wide receivers.
So
yeah, Diami Brown's coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons as a sophomore and junior at North Carolina too, so he's definitely up there. I mean, he had some touchdown upside as well. Averaged 20 yards a catch.
What's his 40, Snyder? I don't really pay attention to that shit, but I'm just interested.
I'm not sure. Here, I'll check. Uh, 4.46.
Yeah. All right, Bobby.
4.46. He's not a burner.
That used to be fast, but now today's day, that's not that fast.
Did Evans go? Oh, Evans went before Brown. Fuck me.
Oh,
Are you serious?
That's terrible.
Somebody took him. You know who I don't mind as kind of a substitute for Evans is Williams on Chicago. Just because.
Yeah, Darrell Williams.
Yeah, not
Darrell Williams. Darrell.
No. On Chicago.
I like James White. I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Damian Williams.
Damian Williams. Yeah.
He sat out last year due to COVID.
Yeah, he sat out last year due to COVID. Before that, the last game he played in was the Super Bowl, and he should have won the MVP. He was what carried that team in that Super Bowl, and they gave it to Patrick Mahomes, which was kind of surprising. Well, I guess it's not surprising that they gave it to Patrick Mahomes, but like as far as a performance, performance, Damian Williams should have easily been the MVP of that Super Bowl. But
we took your guy.
We took
Dame.
Oh, right on. Yeah. He, I think Chicago brought him in there for a reason. I don't think that they're very confident maybe in Tariq Cohen. He's had a lot of problems with his knees. He had the ACL injury last season, and he hasn't been recovering very well from it. I don't know if that's necessarily why they brought in Damian Williams. They might have just been losing confidence in general in Cohen. But Williams could be one of those guys where he can catch passes and he can also be a workhorse. So I think if Montgomery, something were to happen to Montgomery, a guy like Williams could come in there and be, like a 3-down back. And then they, stick with Cohen for like gadget plays and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know how
I
something
could
like
see
that
that
would play out. But yeah, Williams is another one of those guys that nobody's talking about. But he did really well in Kansas City, obviously. And now he's going into an offense, potentially playing with Justin Fields. We don't know how long it's going to take Fields to get in there. But if that offense is a strong offense and Williams gets his shot at being the starting running back, then he could have a really nice season. And he's going super late. You can get him, and we just took him, in the 16th round?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get him maybe even later than that. What's his what pick did we get him at, and what's his ADP?
ADP.
If you go to your thing on the side,
I think he was like 180 maybe.
So we took
197.
Yeah, see,
ADP's 184.
Yeah,
ADP 197. We got him 184.
Yeah, so he's a guy that you can get in the 17th round, but I don't think he's being talked about as much as he should be.
Yeah, I like that take for sure.
I want to get Byron Pringle. That's my guy.
Is that the dude that you have the most exposure to?
I have a lot of him. I think he could potentially be the third receiver in that offense.
Yeah.
Or like at least
I feel like
Kansas City, right? Like,
yeah. I feel like Robinson's had a ton of chances and he hasn't really run away with it. So I would not be surprised if a guy like Pringle could step in and take that role.
Like the thing is, Nico Collins is going to be just who's throwing Nico Collins the football. It's like that's the decision I'm weighing.
If it's Watson, then there's still a chance it could be Watson this season. He's at training camp now. I heard in training camp they were putting him in defender positions and stuff like that. They're just putting him all over the place, like except for quarterbacks. So I don't know what's going on there. And Houston, like we said, is open to trading him now.
They're putting him in defensive positions?
I heard they used him on defense in some of training camp so far. Like I don't know what they're doing, but
okay, we're taking Pringle. Should go Nico Collins, but I'm getting my guy. Move my last pick. Is this my last pick?
You got one more.
Yeah.
We'll go Nico. We'll go Nico.
Yeah. I like the upside of Nico better.
Nico it is. Byron Pringle is my. I remember who was that guy? He's like an influencer. He does like season long. He's on I think it was Instagram. He was like, Byron Pringle, who's that? Or like whatever. I forget what his name was. Overzet does like a bit on him. Pringle season coming up.
AP will love that pick.
If I get him, he might go. Take Kadarius Toney Slayton. No, they're gonna get me. Nope. I'm gonna get him.
Yeah, I think so.
It'd be
that guy in front of you.
Content if I didn't get him.
How perfect would it be if you got sniped?
I got sniped the whole fucking draft. So
yeah.
What the fuck? Let me get the one guy I want.
Between getting sniped and using the desktop application and all that, it's just
damn. I got him.
We start the show off so good with like strategy and everything like that, trying to lay it out, and then we jump.
Lineup went to absolute shit.
Leroy Jenkins, Oh, classic.
That's all right. Yeah, so at the top we have Aaron Rodgers and Ryan Fitzpatrick. We guess we did all right. Austin Eckler. Me and Simon are pretty bullish on Eckler.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you go top 5. Nick Chubb was a mistake, but it happens. We're going to live with it. We probably should have went Jonathan Taylor there. Alexander Madison, took him a little early, but he's like a leverage play that I'm just trying to get over on in my script. Gio, took him early. I have a lot of him. I just think the ADP is wrong. Damian Williams, Simon likes him. Chicago Bears backup. If he ends up being the starter, he's in a good position there, especially if Justin Fields steps in and does well. Mm-hmm. Jamar Chase, wide receiver, obviously tons of upside. Julio Jones in Tennessee. If he's done selling weed and he's on the field, it'll be good. I don't know if you guys heard about that. In a black market, like drug dealing ring with Roddy White. Odell Beckham. On it, big negative correlation with Beckham and Chubb, but I have to live with it. Cortland Sutton, we all like pretty much. I think he's in a really good spot in Denver. His reports out of camp are great. Michael Pittman, all very high on him. Snyder likes him. Simon the same. Mario Rodgers, I'm a big fan of. Get that Rodgers stack going. Diami Brown, same thing with Fitzpatrick. Nico Collins and Byron Pringle were like just late round value wide receivers, which I think probably outperform their ADP, depending on how the season goes. And then the last 2 tight ends, we kind of got cut off there, but tight end's probably our best position. Logan Thomas and Bob Tonyan. We had to go with Bob because I'm doing the draft. So it's pretty much our team. What do you guys think? Give me a grade. You can be harsh.
I'd say
you give me C minus.
Yeah, I'd say probably a C, but I think it's just one of those situations where, you know, like, and this happens like with these 30-second drafts, is like if you have one of your picks go wrong, it can just, you know, it can fluster you, you know, like you can get to the point where one pick goes wrong, and then next thing you know, all your picks are getting sniped off of you, and it's just like you kind of can give up mid-draft sometimes. But you know, it just happens. It's like when you're doing 150 of these, there's going to be some drafts that don't go your way, and you're just like, fuck, and then you have to go right back in. Like as soon as we log off this, I guarantee you, Bobby's going to be logging back in and drafting another team.
Holy shit.
You know, but you know, I thought overall, you know, it was a fun draft. You know, like I think we got some good like upside pieces in there. I like Jamar Chase. I like Julio Jones's potential. I like getting him in the we get him in the 3rd or 4th round.
Can we talk about this Bengals Titans love like around the industry? Like everyone wants Bengals and Titans. That's what I've come to realize. Everyone that I know that like knows anything is all over the Bengals and Titans. I get it, but like, do you want to play in that pool where you could kind of do something different? Because if that goes wrong,
I like the Titans passing game, and it's kind of like we've talked about in the past. Is I don't trust the durability of Henry this season. You know, I mean, he had over 400 touches last season. You know, and traditionally, guys coming off 300 touch seasons were bound to have a bad year, and he's coming off 400 touches. But the season before that, I think he had over 300 touches. So he's coming off of 700 plus touches in the past 2 years. So
cumulative career touches too is just
exactly. Yeah, but I also think that I was reading that I don't think the Titans have a very good schedule against run defenses. So I think they're going to be passing a lot this season. So having Julio and AJ along with Tannehill, I think the passing game is what's going to be what's up in Tennessee this year. And I'm fading the running game there, except for Evans, you know, who obviously you would get a value if you draft him super late and things end up working out so that Evans is getting a significant role in that offense. But Yeah, that's what I like about the Titans. I'm not going out of my way to draft Titans. If Julio falls to me in that, let's say, fourth round or late third round, then he's kind of the best pick on the board for me because I want to hammer those wide receivers. Yeah,
he definitely fell late.
Yeah, because you got him in the fourth round. Like we kind of blew our load early and took Chase in the third round. I normally draft him in the fourth. I don't usually jump on him in the third, but like Julio, we got in the fourth, so I would normally have those picks swapped around if I was doing it. So we got both the players that we, that I would normally draft there. I don't like.
I skip like that whole Julio's. Yeah. That seems like a dead zone to me. Like third round, I go to like Chase and Deontay, which is probably around early, but
I go to those guys usually fall to me in the fourth if I'm drafting in that back end. But I don't blame you for drafting him in the third because we saw what was in the third. At this point with Thomas going, past the 10th round.
12th, 11th round.
Yeah, I wouldn't even touch Thomas even in the 11th round. Like I wouldn't touch Thomas until I was done with guys like Aguilar and stuff like that. Because Thomas, like I said, when he comes back, he could just be on the bench the rest of the season. We don't know what's going to happen with Thomas. His ankle, like he could come back and he's not going to be the same receiver because his ankle's still fucked up. So we don't know what's going to happen with Thomas. And so you look now at the end of the third round, it's pretty much like just garbage. You got like Godwin, who I don't hate Godwin, but like you got Evans, Godwin. I don't mind Evans at the end of the third. But I feel like I'm being forced to take him because I was getting guys like Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Terry McLaurin earlier in the offseason, which is one of the advantages of drafting earlier on. Now you're stuck you're stuck making a choice between like DJ Moore, who I want nothing to do with. I got him like pushed way down my ADP. You got DJ Moore, you got like Mike Evans, you got Godwin, guys like Cooper Kupp, who I'm not that interested in. I don't mind Robert Woods if you can get him in that area. Like I'm kind of starting to warm up to Woods now that Akers is gone. So, like they're, to me, I mean that's just my opinion too. By the way, I mean.
I think you made two good points about the Rams passing attack and then the Titans passing attack, just leveraging those running back situations. So I think that's a big – see that in DFS a ton in tournaments when running backs are chalk. It's good GPP strategy. Snyder, any takes overall?
Yeah, I definitely do like the Bengals passing attack just because I feel like they're going to be down a lot this year, and Burrow has some huge upside. I think both of those, Higgins and Chase, will see over 100 targets this year. And I mean, T. Higgins showed up to camp. He's way bigger, stronger. The coaches say he's more explosive than he was last year. They're expecting big things out of him. And we know what Jamar Chase brings to the table.
Everyone's on these Bengals. Holy shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I also like, if you're not going to go that route, I like going Joe Mixon there. Because, I mean, we've all seen Joe Mixon's upside when he's healthy. I mean, he's a freak when he's running. And I don't think defenses, if this passing attack is this good, I don't think defenses will be able to stack the box as much as him. And he may be running against some softer fronts and stuff. And he could be able to get to that second level where he can use his speed and strength to break a couple.
They're going to have to run the ball too because they didn't really make much improvements on the offensive line. So they're going to have to try to force the run to kind of set up the pass.
That was one of the things that I didn't get. Like when they had that.
I don't know why everyone's all over them. To be honest, like I get Chase, but I have no Burrow.
That's my one concern is that they didn't fix that offensive line, especially after what happened to Burrow last season, and they had the opportunity to grab the best offensive lineman when it came to their pick in the draft, and they went with a receiver, which didn't make any sense to me.
You told me that Burrow overruled the front office.
I think he did, yeah.
Burrow told him, he wanted his guy.
I'm pretty sure you told me that, Simon, or you thought that was the case.
Yeah,
they tried to put a Band-Aid on that offensive line, though, drafting a guy later, and they picked up a couple free agents, but it's not going to be near enough, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah, and that was a mistake, especially when you're making an investment like that in Burrow. But now that Chase is on the Bengals, though, like I'll happily draft him because I think
Yeah,
he's going to be
yeah.
a stud.
He
you
is
know?
good. He's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, that's the thing
So
is like his ADP correct? Is his ADP correct? Like we've seen all these that third like CeeDee Lamb and Terry McLaurin are going higher now. People are
yeah,
kind of catching on that it's kind of a those guys that are in that spot may not be in the correct spot. So maybe Chase is supposed to be around higher.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll probably
In
end up there by
TAs.
the summer. But I think right now, where you can grab the value and slip in that extra receiver in the third round, like I'm trying to do that. But I'm overexposed to Chase. I've been drafting him all summer. Like there was a point where I was able to get him and Higgins in like every draft, and I was drafting them fourth and fifth. And now it's just like now I'm lucky if I can grab one of them in the fourth. So it's getting tougher and tougher to get the guys that I want, but it's also good to see their ADP going up because that tells me that maybe I was onto something early in the off season and that I'm thinking the right way about these receivers and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel similarly about McLaurin and CD. Like can't get
Yep.
them anymore, but it's good that I
Yep.
was taking them when I was taking them.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the advantage of drafting earlier. The disadvantage is if you get heavy exposure to a guy like Akers or Thomas, like then you're basically screwed. But that that doesn't happen all too often. Last year, I don't know what your guys' experience was, but I was drafting early throughout the season, and then we got to training camp and the beginning of the season. Half my teams were like decimated because there were so many freaking injuries last year. And then the first few weeks of the season, I was looking at my teams during the season, and I would have like 10 guys on the IR. Like I would be skeleton crews, like I would be missing positions and stuff like that. I was just like slaughtered last year because of injuries, but like I'm hoping that this year works out a little bit better. So far I've managed to avoid the two major ones, but we still got a long month ahead of us and anything can happen.
No, you make a good point. Like there's a lot of variance in terms of injuries. That's what it is like I think that Darrell Henderson situation is a huge industry short squeeze because so many people are pounding Cam Akers. Even these sharps were pounding Cam Akers, and now no one wants to draft Henderson. But we've seen tonight Henderson crept up. We didn't get him in the round we thought we were getting him till they sign someone or draft someone. You should keep drafting Henderson, in my opinion. So that's pretty much my thought on the situation. All right, guys, that wraps it up. Run Pure Sports Best Ball Underdog. Hit the like and subscribe if you like this video. Promo code for Underdog is Run Pure. And then at Run Pure Sports, we have the RPS Heater 25. That's basically just our promo code for the site. And for Simon and Snyder, I'm Bob. See ya.